Y'all know what it is. It's 1 from 100. I hit it in the top of the back. One more from 100. There we go. Oh yeah, smoked it. Gotta go give my girl a kiss. I can't miss that opportunity.
Look.
Where?
She's right there.
Oh my gosh.
Can you watch me?
November the 3rd. And I've been in this stand for literally maybe 2 minutes. And I've got 2 different chases going on. There's a chase out the ridge from me. And then there's a chase down at the bottom. It is on right now. These ones down here stopped. I actually thought that they was going to make their way all the way up to me. But then they turned and went back down. It's been about 15 minutes since that small buck worked through. I seen one more buck. And I can hear more stuff down there. I'm not sure if a hot doe came through here at some point today. But if it did, they're going to walk by at about 50 yards, which is right in my wheelhouse. I'd say it's about 5:30-ish, maybe 5:45. It's starting to get real quiet, and I've not heard any deer in a little bit. That big buck made an appearance yesterday at about 6:10-ish. Here comes a young buck. I'm assuming that's what pushed them does out of there. It's just a little spike. There's another chase going on over here behind me. They've been starting, stopping, and it's for sure deer. I'm just waiting for them to work their way over here. They've got really close 2 different times. Got a buck chasing a doe right down here below me. It's the morning of, shoot, I don't even know, maybe the 5th of October or November. Got a decently long hike this morning, and I'm gonna be hunting in the same tree that I've been hunting in the last 2 days. Had a lot of deer activity, and I really feel like this could be the day. I got high hopes, and just wish me luck, and I'm on my way. Had a big finger on the point of a ridge, and I got a decently long hike ahead of me. Sorry, I'm out of breath. Just walked up a pretty big hill, but I've only got about 700 or 800 more yards to go, and I'll be in the stand. It's about 7:30, and I'll be getting snuggled up in the tree about 15 minutes before legal shooting light, I believe. Well, it's the morning of November the 4th. I just tried doing this interview and my GoPro battery died. I just put that battery in there. I don't think it's that cold. And in between changing batteries, and I was gonna say, a deer. There's a chase going on down below me right now. The squirrels are actually starting to bark over here behind me. They may be looping up to come up here on this ridge. Well, little mid-morning update. Kind of cold. And I seen my first deer with my eyeballs just now. The GoPro batteries are literally getting drained every time I turn it on. The camera on for 30 seconds to a minute. I have to change GoPro batteries. That doe peed right in front of me. And I can smell it. I'd say it's a pretty good sign. The buck may come to here at some point. I'm cold. Okay, here's the deal. It's 1 o'clock, and I am so sick of this tree. It sways and sways and sways some more. I'm gonna switch trees to a pig nut tree down a little ways from me, about 15 yards. I am so I'm literally sick because I'm so sick of swaying in this thing. For 3 days, I have been moving back and forth, and every time I get up, I shake that dang thing so bad that every deer from the next county can see it moving. I haven't saw a deer in about 30 minutes, and I haven't been filming anything because I'm afraid the GoPro battery's gonna die. I think I've saw 7 deer, 7 deer. No bucks. Like, I haven't saw any horns yet, but I'm gonna move. I may end up going on a trip and really moving, I don't know. But the big move right now is moving to that tree right there. So it's like 3:30, maybe 3:30. I actually moved about 70 yards out the ridge where I saw that really big buck at 2 days ago. I'm pretty much eye level with him if he comes up this road, which is not what I wanted, because I don't know, I just didn't see it whenever I was setting the stand up. I thought that I was going to be above him, but apparently I'm not. I still like the setup. I may have to hold my bow from about 4:30, 5 o'clock till dark. I'm okay with that. These all-day hunts are... There's something. But it is what it is. Gotta keep on keeping on. My wind also is it's very inconsistent, which wind is very inconsistent between about 12, like 1-ish to 5-ish on these ridges. It always is. It's always really gusty that time of the day, and you get different winds, unfortunately. I don't live in a flat land where the wind just blows the same every single time. I live in hills. But I'm gonna try to hold this out and get it done. It could happen at any time. I think I saw 6 or 7 deer up till about noon. I've not saw a deer in 3 hours. Right there's where that buck was standing the other night. I was about 60 yards right up there on that ridge. He was walking this wide open path. Very good sign that the deer aren't being pressured back here only by me here in the last few days. I ain't gonna shoot it. Dang it. He's too small. So since I got excited and deleted my whole previous interview, I was standing just like this, and I hear footsteps. And I turned all the way around the other way, got my safety harness wrapped up, and it ended up being a nice buck. Was working the edge of this transition line, which you would have heard me talk about if I wouldn't have deleted that whole 5-minute interview of me recapping my last 3 days of hunting. So here's a recap. It's November the 5th. I've been here on this ridge since I believe the 2nd, maybe even the 1st, I don't know. And I saw 2 giant bucks in here. Since then I have not seen either buck. I saw 9 bucks and 8 does the next evening after that. I sat all day yesterday and saw 3 bucks and 7 does. And today it's about 10:30 and all I saw was that 1 buck. I probably am not going to see does. The does are actually, there is a phenomenal doe bedding right up there. And realistically, that little bitty pinch right there, I probably could kill a buck off of that with a buck following them does into that bedding. But they seem to be coming around the backside of it and pushing them out. Every doe I saw come out of there had a buck behind it. But the bucks are never going in right there. They're always coming out. So I decided to move down closer to where I think the bigger deer are working this transition line. There's a little high spot right here, headed out this big ridge system. And these bucks are using this high spot to get up and down because it's thicker on the high spot. There's more green, there's more underbrush, there's more small beech trees to keep them hidden. I've only saw a young buck using this wide open ridge out here behind me. I'm not saying a doe couldn't lead a big buck astray, but right here above me, there's a pine thicket, and it really conceals the deer getting to and from. And I think that's what they're doing, is they're using this ridge system, which I know they are because I've watched it happen multiple times. They're using this ridge system and circling around the backside of the does when they're coming from this direction. And there's actually doe bedding right here over this ridge right here in front of me also. It's perfect. I mean, the bucks can come right up to here. They can scent check multiple bedding areas at once. And I know these bucks bed right out this ridge. I killed a giant right out this ridge. It's just so funny. I had not stepped foot here since I had shot that really big buck. And here I'm back 2 years later. In my first set, I see another giant. I'm pretty darn happy with that, you know. They say once you kill a big buck in an area, there's always a big buck in that area. Well, it does make sense in some scenarios depending on the terrain features. I mean, you can't shoot a big buck out in the middle of a ditch in the middle of the field and expect to always shoot a big buck out of the ditch in the middle of the field. Being deep in the woods like this, it really allows for people to not be here. I have put a lot of pressure on it, but it is the time of the year to decide whether or not I was going to put pressure on it, and the answer is yes. I've decided to put a lot of pressure on it. I'm still seeing bucks. Like I said, I saw I don't know how many deer I seen the night I saw those 2 big bucks. There was deer everywhere. The next day, like I said, I saw 9 bucks, 8 does. The next day I saw 3 bucks and 10 or 7 does, and I hunted all day yesterday, daylight to dark here. I moved from a small sapling up there 70 yards over the hill to where I'm at now, and to be honest, I feel like this would be, there's 3 trees right here I could pick from within 7-8 yards. I may end up moving to this one in front of me. I feel like there's a little better back cover. There's beech trees. Beech trees are phenomenal back cover. Whenever you can get a beech tree next to like a tree big enough to get into, I always get into those kinds of trees. And if there's a big enough beech tree, I mean really, don't take a big beech tree to get into. I've got into some very, very small beech trees, and they're so sturdy. I love setting up in beech trees because they hold green leaves throughout the fall. Just a great idea. Well, I decided to turn this thing on while I put everything down the tree because a giant buck's probably going to walk in as I'm packing everything. All my extra stuff. Oh crap, that definitely hit the black rack. So here's the deal. It's not 4:30. It's not. It's actually 4:31. And we're not in the woods yet because Cooter slept and I lost track of time. I had full intentions of taking a nap, and that went over. Why does it always say remove objects near passenger seat? I don't know. But we're gonna go kill a big buck. Maybe. Cooter is gonna kill a big buck. It's gonna happen. Son! God dang, son, that's the biggest one out here. How the hell you expect me to get up that hill? That's too steep to walk. There's a car coming. I'm up here. I'm up. Oh shit. Beep, 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 beep. God dang, bud. They're rolling down the hill. So, just done some scouting. That's the tree right there. I got 4 different drainage ditches that dump off right here. I've been scouting for about an hour. But this is the tree right here that I picked. It's slightly fallen back a little. I'll face my stand straight at this point up here. And then I've got this little ridge, a natural funnel right over here. And 1, 2, 3, 4 ditches that drop right here. You'll get deer actually travel on the lateral sides of these. And as you can hear, I'm just right above the highway, probably 200 yards. But it is so secluded because there's a real hard drop off. And it's really impossible to come up, but I scaled it. It takes a while. But I've also got natural travel right over through here that comes right over the end of this knob. And then I've got travel coming this direction, and then they'll travel this way sometimes, but they're always on this side every time I see them because they've got bedding here and bedding right over here. I did come through the middle of that bedding area to see if there was anything in there. I bumped nothing, but big buck was spotted in here yesterday. Pretty good buck. So in the next few days, this will be a tree that I'll do an all-day set in. I've sat here all day before, but I sat farther up the ridge, and all my travel always seemed to be right here. So I've also got this tree down here that's going to pinch these deer off right here. These deer love walking through this greenbrier for some reason. There's a major trail that runs right through the middle of that greenbrier, and it's pinching them down because of that tree right there. Even if they fall on the backside of it, I mean, realistically, it's only a 45, 50-yard shot. I'm perfectly comfortable with taking that shot as long as it's open. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that as long as you're confident in it. But I could really see me having a good encounter here. They really throw out is the fact that you're hunting does during the rut. So you hunt bucks early season, you hunt does during the rut where the does are, and a hot doe does come into heat. You're gonna kill them that way. I know I've lacked a lot of information in this video so far, and I will get better. I will continue to work on that and try the words that come out of my mouth be informative instead of me babbling. But this particular setup, if you guys can find ditches on ridge systems that dump off the hills, deer love to walk the side hills. You'll find a lot of scrapes, a lot of sign. You won't find a lot of rubs unless they're small saplings. Here's the thing, you know, those bigger trees, if you do find a bigger tree rubbed, a lot of times it's your cedar trees. A lot of times it's your softer bark trees. You don't normally find a big oak tree rubbed in the woods. You'll find small saplings. Like there's a tree right here. It's a historical rub right here. Small tree. These small little beech trees. Bucks will shred those, and you don't want to more focus on the size as you do the height. You see a big buck's horns will get a lot higher than a smaller buck. Little bucks can absolutely rub a 14-15 inch tree. They'll just run around the whole thing and rub their horns on it. It's perfectly possible, but it's that height that matters. I had a guy tell me the other day that he saw deer jump on their back feet and rub trees, and I was like, I don't know if that's the case or not, but I guess that's possible. But that's just my theory on it. Big scrapes don't mean big bucks either. It could be a home scrape. It could just be a scrape that multiple bucks have used throughout their travel routine, and they're just trying to trump the buck, each buck that steps into it. One thing that does mean big bucks is really big tracks. Your 4-finger wide or wider tracks, those are probably gonna be your bigger bucks. You find a track as big as your hand, that's going to be a mature buck. Doesn't mean it has a big rack, but it means a mature buck, and that's what we're hunting for, is mature bucks. Yeah, everybody would want to shoot a 200-inch deer, but it's more probable to go ahead and hunt big buck sign, and that's going to give you the best chances if you don't have a camera in the area. So that's just a really good tip to help you guys out. But I'm going to go ahead and pack out of here. I got to pick up my buddy. He's got to be to a baby shower, and I'm going to go deer hunting. So stay tuned, guys. I'll be in a tree here in a little bit. I don't think it's going to be this tree. My wind is terrible. I probably shouldn't be standing here right now, but I am. That's okay. I'm going to go hunt another place that I've been hunting a big buck at for the last 3 or 4 days, so stay tuned. Here's this big tree. I'm going to be able to crawl up underneath this thing. The tree I want to be in is just right up there. So I will be using this ditch and all this structure to drop back down to my truck. Just rocky. Very rocky, but very doable. I could sneak up this thing really slow and really get great results from it. Hey guys, it's November the 6th. I'm set up on a slightly different area, probably about 500 yards from where I've been hunting the previous days. I did mix things up last night, got out of there. Like I said, Cooter was able to shoot a doe. And I scouted that area and found a tree that I want to set in. But I'm kind of hunting the back door to the doe bedding that big buck was on the 2nd. And I feel like he's moved over in here because he's not so much as walked through there during the daylight, because I've been there almost at all times. Stay tuned, and we're going to see if I can get a big Indian whitetail on the ground. I did not end up seeing any deer on the evening of the 6th, and actually had somebody walk in on me. It's kind of a funny story, but it's all good. did sit in a place on the ground for like an hour earlier just scouting on my phone to try to figure something out. I don't want to think that I overhunted this one deer that I'm hunting, but the scouting today paid off because I found a big buck. I pulled a card, and on the 3rd of November at 5:51 in the morning, I had a giant 9-pointer roll through a piece of public. I'm pretty happy about that. Also, a huge shout out to my mom and dad. It's their anniversary. I don't know, 80th something anniversary. They're like ancient. And also, my grandpa's 85th birthday today, so I want to wish him a happy birthday. I've only got about an hour left of light. I just kind of snuck in here. I actually didn't sneak at all. I walked really loud and grunted all the way over here. But I wanted to get this down because this is my hanging hunt setup, and I wanted to get it down so that I could really try to focus on setting up in good places. Being in a tree in the rut, I feel like is, I don't know if it's necessary, but if you want to be able to see in a thicket or something, it's necessary. I normally do not use a stand early season, but once November hits, I am in a stand almost every day until gun season rolls around. And if I still have a buck tag and I want to hunt with the family during gun season, I won't take a stand with me most of the time. Ended up seeing 3 shooter bucks right at last light and after dark. Actually ended up having my target buck that I was hunting in this area walk directly under my tree, and there was nothing that I could do about it. It's November the 8th, and I did not get to close you guys out with what happened last night. It's November the 8th, and I've already saw 2 deer, and there's a 3rd one that crossed the creek not very long ago. So this morning, ended up seeing 2 doe and a really good buck. Here's the video of that. I've been waiting to see this deer. He's a huge 2-year-old. I mean, a monster 2-year-old. I'm sorry it's kind of grainy and everything, but it was shot on my cell phone, and well, that's all I had because I forgot my GoPro batteries at home. I switched up the scene a little bit. I'm gonna hunt a big mature 9-pointer that I got on camera probably 3 or 4 nights ago, and he may have just been passing through the area. But I walked in here to this piece of public and went to look for a specific scrape that's in a really good pinch point, and it's active. There was 3 pretty good bucks. I need to be very careful whenever I am deciding if I'm going to shoot this deer or not, because there is like an identical one that is not near as big. It could happen really easy. But I've been very disciplined this year. I let a phenomenal buck walk last night. I let a pretty good buck walk today. Just really trying to shoot a great buck instead of just shooting a good one. That is way easier said than done hunting as much public land as I do, even though the last 2 nights I have hunted private. But gonna get up this tree. I ain't got a lot of time left. The sun's probably only an hour from going down. I may have took a nap in the middle of the day, got a little sidetracked. But I'm gonna get up this tree. I'll see you guys once I get up there. After getting here and seeing how good it looks, I'll probably leave this stand up and hunt this in the morning. That big buck came through here of a morning 3-4 days ago now. I don't assume him to be here, bouncing on in here and push him to a different place, I'm perfectly okay with it. I've got a really good piece that I think he could possibly be living on that I'm gonna stay out of for a few days. I do have a camera in there right now on a very, very hot red oak it seems to always be hot. It's just a natural little funnel that the deer gotta go through. They stop and eat some red oaks on the way through there. I'd like to talk about this piece of public here a little bit. It's a skinny, long piece. The property line's about 70 yards, right down through this ditch. And the deer actually bedded over up here on this top, and then they're on the next one. And they're also right here behind me. I did not blow a single deer out of here on the way in, which is awesome. There's a scrape right here where this hill kind of breaks around. It's a natural little funnel with some trees down that they're going to come through this area. That scrape is cleaned out. There's a lot of leaves falling right now, so that lets me know that there's deer going through it. Well, I got about 30 minutes of daylight left, and so far I'm pretty sure I heard a chase go on across the road on the private. Nothing ever happened to that. It was pretty big leaps and bounds. Could have just been a deer getting spooked up out of its bed. They do bed across the road, but it wasn't a squirrel. Other than that, no deer sightings. We're down to that last 30 minutes. And I thought I've heard a deer up the bottom of this cut down here below me a few times. Could have been, could have not have been. Probably gonna rattle here soon. Now that I know the bucks are up on their feet for sure, with it being really warm today, I really don't expect them to move until last light. There could be, that giant could be bedded right above me so easily. It's November the 9th. Got like 2 hours until dark. I've been playing cat and mouse with the delivery truck driver on New Late all day. And I'm heading back into where I saw several good bucks in a 2 or 3 day span that I hunted here. I'm not seeing deer anywhere else, so here I am. I think it's just a matter of time before the buck I'm hunting walks by me, because several good bucks walk by me here. I'm gonna get up here to this tree. I'm about 100 yards away from it, and gonna climb up in it with the old hanging hunt, and hopefully I can get a deer. I'm in a tree. I've been here for probably 30 minutes. I've just got like a gut-wrenching feeling that something's gonna happen. Like, can't sit still in the tree. My odds are really good. It's November the 9th. Bucks should be moving, regardless of the summer temperatures. There will be a cold front coming this weekend. Unfortunately, this weekend is gun season, so that's not good. I've had a very scary situation. Not very long ago, I was sitting here and I hear something running across the holler below me, and I didn't think anything of it because 2 squirrels sound a lot like a deer running sometimes. And I got a glimpse of it and I was like, well, that's got 4 legs. And so I just turned around and didn't pick my bow up yet. So I caught another glimpse of it, and I was like, holy shit, that's a coyote. So I picked my bow up and ranged a spot at the creek where I thought it was going to cross. I drew my bow back, and it hung right before it got there, and I couldn't really see it much, but I mean, I could tell that, looked like a coyote. It turns and starts running up the hill, and I was like, what the hell? Why does a coyote have a collar on? I looked, it was a neighbor's dog. I'd have killed it if it would have went to that crossing and I stopped it. I'd have killed it. It was 65 yards, and I don't miss that often. So pay attention before you shoot coyotes, because you may be killing your neighbor's dog and not knowing it. Granted, that damn dog shouldn't have been out here, regardless of the fact. Especially this time of the year. There's a lot more hunters in the woods this time of the year. And like some hunters, a lot of people would have killed that dog even after they knew it was a dog, just because it effed up their hunt. I could replay that thing in my head 100 times, and it looked exactly like a coyote. Same size, everything. But I'd much rather text the owner of the dog and said, hey, I almost shot your dog, versus, hey, just to let you know, your dog's dead. That would be terrible. I'd feel absolutely horrible for it. So this is probably the clip of a doe actually coming in that, to be honest, I was planning on shooting. I've only killed one doe this year. Given the opportunity, I decided that I was probably going to shoot this doe. What I didn't know was going to happen is that my target buck was going to come down the edge of the fence behind me and stand until 20 minutes after dark, then proceeds to walk underneath of me. The only thing I could see was his white horns over the black silhouette of his body. Pretty cool experience overall, but I definitely just feel like at this point it's just a game of cat and mouse with this joker. Well, it's November 10th. And if you didn't already hear, I had my target buck come in again last night and walk under my tree. 30 minutes after dark, pretty much. If I wasn't a very honest person, I could have probably still killed him. But I was raised a redneck, and my instincts darn near kicked in, but I didn't, and I'm proud of myself for that. I want to kill this as much on his terms as I possibly can. I don't think I'm in the right tree. I don't think I'm in the right tree at all. But I can't get any further. I literally cannot get any further. I have to go get on my freaking knees and beg just to be able to kill this deer, I think. Never thought I'd obsess over a 160-inch 4-year-old one, never. I've got bigger deer that I could go hunt, but it's a cat and mouse game at this point. Deer may be 170, maybe 160, I don't know. Still kind of wondering if that deer I saw that one night was even real. I don't believe it. I've tried not to think about it. But if it was real, he's a giant. I just don't believe it. I think I misidentified 150-inch deer. That's what I'm going with. Because if it was real, I wouldn't sleep. I tried hunting the Big Nine a few days ago and skipped this place. Really wish I didn't. Because I don't see anything here. But the evenings are really good here. And I don't see anything over there in the evenings. But the mornings is when I'm getting pictures of that buck. And here, I sat here every morning. I actually like to hunt a spot in the evening. I'll normally scout in the middle of the day if I've set up on a new place or something. I'll hang my stand in the evening and then hunt it the next morning, then take it down. So I'm not having to put it up in the dark in the morning. That just calls for a lot of noise. And you already make enough noise with your clodhoppers bouncing through the woods. I like to stop and grunt every 20 or 30 yards whenever I'm walking through the woods. And this year, I've done really well at not spooking deer. So that is a plus. But I'm gonna quit babbling. If I have a deer right here. It's a buck. It's not a shooter. It's like 10:30, and other than that solid 10-pointer that walked by, I haven't saw anything. From 60. It's always good to get a little bit of practice in. That was terrible. Let's see if I can put 3 of these things inside this dot at 36 yards. Same spot. Well, maybe I'm not crazy. All 3 of those are over the dot. Down there at 73 yards, I'm gonna set it. It's actually 73 and a half. I set it on 73. Just gonna leave it that. That was high. I know it was. Oh, I'm hitting high. That's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Huh. I wonder why, though. You know, when you drag these things through the woods, I probably shouldn't be surprised. That would hit right behind my pin, I think. I suck. I mean, it was only like 1.5 inches high, but I'm leaving it. Well, I'm very dusty, and I got some work done. It's 3 o'clock. Deer haven't been moving up to an hour before dark, so I really didn't feel it necessary to go in there at 70 degrees when I could be at home working. So let's head to the woods. Stupid ladybugs. It is so hot. Phone says it's 70 degrees. But believe it or not, I am within 150 yards of a 170-inch deer right now. 160-inch deer, maybe 150. I don't know. One of those three. And he has no idea I'm here. I never went and asked that guy. He was standing outside. I chickened out. This wind is a little excessive. The way I've been hunting this is a wind that's blowing straight at him. But the way thermals work and the way that light wind works is with that little bit of wind, thermals normally don't rise that much, and they'll fall after a little bit. They will rise a little bit, but they'll fall. And this is a little too windy. Like just then, it just switched and went down where I want it to. But I really want the wind to be pretty calm just to work out. I didn't look at the wind tonight. I just assumed I went deer hunting. Maybe it'll calm down before dark when the deer start moving. I won't get winded. But if I do, whatevs. If my calculations are correct, it's 70 degrees. There's a big buck bedded right up here. And I can't get any closer than 150 yards from him because of property issues. I'm as close as I can get. I'm as close as I can get. I'm not going over the property line and going to kill it. I did not go talk to the homeowner, and he was outside. I could have talked to him just as easy as I talk to anybody, but I chickened out. Gun season comes in 2 days, and I probably blew my opportunity by not manning up and going and talking to him. Something I'm about to live with, I guess. Even on the way here, I thought, Joby, just stop and talk to him. It would take you 15 minutes to move your stand 60 more yards and you'll kill him. Just try to make something happen. Aggravating to myself. Let's see if we can get this done. Well, I'm back here in the tree. It's the evening of November the 10th. It's hot. I've been running my wood lathe all evening. I've got dust in my lungs. I've got to get a better respirator. I don't really have high hopes for tonight, I'll be honest. But I plan on packing everything up when I leave and moving on. I've hunted this spot four times, I think. I've seen bucks literally every time I sat here. Good bucks, like pretty good bucks. And I saw my target buck twice, just after dark. So I'm gonna move things up tomorrow. I'm gonna get back to where I originally started hunting the deer and see if I can get him to slip. But so far he is not slipping very much. So maybe have a random giant deer walk by. Anything over, I don't know, 140, I'll probably shoot. not really just a bias criteria. It has nothing to do with anybody else, just me. But I say that and I'll probably let one go. But stay tuned, and probably not going to do a lot of playing around on here, and probably going to do quite a bit of hunting. Just going to be nice and quiet. Listen, look, see if a big buck slips up in here on me and I can get an arrow on him. Just had 3 does walk through right down there, about 75 yards. Honestly, I would have shot one of the bigger does. It is getting closer to deer season, or gun season. I'd like to have one more doe with my bow. It's been a super exciting last 7 days, and as I did not get even close to the amount of deer that I saw on video, this GoPro is very limited to what I can and can't do with it. As always, guys, I appreciate you guys so much. I love each and every one of you. Always remember, guys, God loves you, and God bless, and keep persevering, killing a big buck this year, because if I can, you can. Thank you for watching.